Good morning. Welcome to TERRA at Home. I'm here with Colleen Zimmerman, and we are talking fruit trees today.
Yes.
It's that time of year, and I guess this is about the perfect time of year, isn't it?
It is
As
the
we
perfect
get into
time of
May.
year.
And
Yep, great selection and perfect time to plant.
now, this is something some people are afraid. They're like, really, I can grow my own fruit tree, and just worried that there's a lot of logistics and there's so much to think about, and am I able to actually eat the fruit that I grow? So
Definitely.
let's talk about some of maybe the first steps if you're deciding on getting yourself a fruit tree.
First step is to decide what kind of fruit you want. And there's lots to choose from. There's plums and peaches, apricots, cherries, apples, pears, nectarines.
And we're in a good region for this, for when we're in season to grow these type of things, right?
Yeah.
So
and all the ones that we carry, I've checked the zones on them to make sure that they are hardy for our area.
okay, so that's a good step.
Yes.
All right. So deciding, again, say we're going to go with apples.
Yes.
Now, one thing you were telling me that generally when you have an apple tree, you can't just have one apple tree.
Right, apples and pears and plums and cherries usually need more than one tree in order to cross-pollinate to produce the fruit. So the bees have to do their work in order for you to get the fruit. However, there are multi-trees. So, for instance, the two behind us here, we have a 5-in-1 apple tree. So there are 5 different varieties of apples on one tree.
Which is amazing to me. I didn't even think that was even possible. But you're saying through grafting that this is all possible now.
It's fabulous because then it self-pollinates because you've got the 5 different varieties there, and then on each branch you'll get a different variety. So you could have golden delicious, red
Look at the
delicious, ambrosia. Yeah, each color tag shows you what kind of apple is on that branch. Same thing with the pear. We have a 5-in-1 pear that's got like Bartlett, and Sundown, and
that is
all sorts
amazing.
of varieties.
I love that idea.
And we also have a multi-cherry tree as well that will have sweet and sour cherries on the same tree.
You can make a sweet and sour cherry pie.
You can.
I honestly, I think that is so neat. So in that in itself means you could just have one single tree. So again, we've been talking a lot about smaller dwellings. People just do not have the space to have more than one tree. So even if you have a very tiny piece of land, you can grow this tree and have your own fruit.
Definitely, and especially for lower maintenance as well, because then you only have one tree to take care of rather than multiple trees.
Okay, now what is the maintenance though on a fruit tree?
There's not a lot. In the past, there's a lot of spraying that's having to be done in order to get the perfect fruit, but you can grow them organically using different types of insecticidal soaps and just cleaning up afterwards, like in the fall, pruning out dead wood and things like that, and just the care of the tree will help in it as well.
Okay, so the droppings and everything, right, that comes from the trees.
Exactly.
Okay, and then I think that's a part where people get a little bit scared, but that's the great part is that you can come into TERRA and really get a full scope on what you need to do, maintenance top end to end,
Definitely,
right?
definitely.
Then you know what you're dealing with. Okay, so when you're planting a tree like this, what you're looking at, again, the current climate, you can plant now?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, we've had these trees in since about early April, actually, and they come in dormant, and then they are acclimatized as the weather and as the season progresses.
Oh,
so
I
they're
see.
fine to plant anytime.
Okay.
You want to plant them in a nice sunny area, use some good triple mix when you're planting them, and give them some space in between them as well, just because they are going to grow.
And that's another thing when people are planting trees like this, because they're starting off so tiny, people really don't think about the root system or just the space that they need. But trees, say for example, this 5-in-1 tree here, this apple tree, how much space would you want to leave in between if you're planting a couple of them?
Between 6 to 10 feet, depending on how much space you have. But as well, most of the fruit trees are smaller size trees, so they're not going to get like a maple size, for instance.
Yeah, exactly. They don't. They just naturally don't, right?
Yeah, and a lot of the new varieties of trees are bred to be smaller dwarf trees, and we carry a lot of the smaller ones too, because we know that people don't have a lot of space to do this. So.
Now, do you have fruit trees in your...
I do.
You do? What fruit trees do you have?
I have pears, but I've got a long list of things I'm going to add this year.
I love to see your place. It's always interesting to see the changes that you're making. What do you find? What have you had the most success with? Or are you just obviously?
We have quite a few pear trees right now, and there's one pear tree on a property that's about 50 years old. And at one point, I did pick 11 bushels of pears off of one tree.
So are you like the one giving them all your neighbors? And
I was,
sharing
that year I was.
And of course,
really
we were talking about the fact that you obviously you have peaches as well.
Yeah.
So you made peach jam.
Yeah.
But that's a great benefit of having your own fruit tree. And if you are in charge of how you're basically raising your tree and growing your tree, then you can take control of, again, as you said, pesticides and that type of thing. And people like that because then they're nurturing their own tree and they know where they're getting their fruit from.
Yeah, exactly. And you can grow your own organically and use as little pesticides or anything that you need. you're in control of it. So, you know, you can plant the varieties that you want. You can have them timed too, because there are different seasons to them as well. So there's early, mid, and late season plants, which are all the information's on the plant itself.
Wow. Okay.
So then you can also have longer yields too for harvesting.
Okay. Okay. So it's interesting now. And also, what's great about fruit trees is they often make beautiful blossoms in the spring, don't they?
They do.
Yeah.
That's why I have a peach tree on my list, because they are beautiful and fragrant in the spring. Peaches and nectarines are my favorite in the spring, because they're almost like an apricot colored flower. And
you don't want them to go away though. That's the
no.
part. I know you're all excited about the fruit to come, but it really is. It's something when you do see fruit trees, and as you say in the spring when the blossoms are out, like cherry blossoms and all that, are just so beautiful. And that is actually a huge selling point for people, and something to think about when you are planning your yard. And again, you're looking at color and you're looking at overall design. You do have to factor in how a tree is going to change throughout the season.
Definitely, and even if you're not going to count on the fruit per se, they're beautiful flowering trees. Most of them will attract birds to the area too, and butterflies, because they also help in the pollinating. So it's like just something extra to add to your yard.
Kind of goes back to the basics of nature, right?
Exactly.
And how this all comes to be.
Sure.
But now, so if you were planting right now, as we're kind of in early May, is there any type of protection that you have to have, just because there still is that risk of frost as you make your way to the end? With a tree like this, if you have planted it, is there?
Not really. No, these ones, like I said, we've gotten these ones in when they're dormant, and they've progressed through the season. So Mother Nature has acclimatized them to the season that it is now.
What about winter? Do you have to wrap them or cover them up, or?
Not usually. I would recommend planting them in a protected area. Most people's backyards now are protected, so there's, I wouldn't plant them in the open field or anything like that, unless you're going to be planting a whole orchard of them.
Yeah, that's really hard on trees, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the wind in the winter that really gets them. The only other thing that you might want to do, especially if you have rabbits in the area, is do the little plastic
aren't
wrap.
they?
Yes.
My yard is full of them right now, and they do some. So they do some
They'll
damage.
nibble at the bark on it, so it's those little plastic white wraps that you can put around the trunk for the first little while. Yeah.
Okay, so some good advice there. So again, basically advising people to come in and go for it, right? Give it a try.
Definitely. Think of all the things that you can make. The peach jam, the chutneys, applesauce, canned fruit.
And as you're saying, when that many yields of fruit, and really that actually is. I don't think people, people are really in the know. To get that much fruit from a tree is amazing, and that just gives you, it's such an advantage. And again, control over what you're eating, and be able to share with your friends.
And every year you'll get more and more. So
that's the great part as they mature, right?
Definitely.
Very good. Well, thank you so for good information, Colleen, and to get yourself a fruit tree. It's that perfect time of year. We'll be back with more TERRA at Home in just a few.
Told you Mom was coming this weekend, right?
No, you left that part out. Her first visit this weekend? Look around, we're not ready for that.
Where are you going?
To TERRA, where do you think?
This is amazing. You're amazing.
Well, we had a little help.
TERRA, where color lives.
Heritage perennials. Look for us in the blue pots.
Good morning. Welcome back to TERRA at Home. I'm here with Tor at the Cheese Shop on Locke in Hamilton, and you have been here. We were just talking about 3.5 years now. Business has been growing, and a lot more ideas, and I mean, it's such a great place to come by, grab something, grab a sandwich, and it's kind of fun, right?
Yeah, it is.
Let's go back to what brought you to your interest in cheese, because that's where it all stems from.
Well, I've always had an interest in food. I was actually contemplating on going to chef school. Just don't like the fact that they're working when nobody else is, and I just thought cheese something that really excited me as well. And it's an exciting business. There's so much to learn about cheese, and
you continue to learn, right? I mean, that's the thing with it. It's just.
I'm actually getting my cheese making license, University of Vermont, in a couple of weeks. So,
that's very good for you.
Yeah,
congratulations. Now that's exciting because that takes you to a whole other level, right?
It does, yeah.
Yeah, and gives you lots of possibilities. So.
Exactly.
Well, we want to talk a little bit about, people love to entertain with cheese. It's a crowd pleaser because there is something for everyone, and literally cheese is made all over the world.
Right.
I know you like to really focus on local.
Yes.
You do have international cheeses, but it is nice to focus on local because, again, obviously we all like to have that attention to local businesses and that big push. But what do you particularly like about searching local? And we're talking local from even, you know, in Ontario to all across Canada.
I just, you know, when it comes to Canadian cheeses, you know what you're getting.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not saying, I mean, obviously the European cheeses, that, you know, that's where, you know, some of the best cheeses in the world come from.
Right, right.
But I really like the idea of sourcing something local and also supporting like small artisanal cheesemakers.
Right.
I think that's what it's all about. You know, there's more and more that are springing up. You know, the industry is growing, and I think it's great for us, you know, as a whole in Canada.
And there's something about connecting with that individual or that family, right? Because and it is a family business often, or you know, on a farm, and it's something about that local connection with people and the one-on-one and knowing exactly who made this cheese, which is kind of cool.
We actually have some really a great history when it comes to cheese making in Canada. I mean, there's a lot of these cheese companies started up as cooperatives, farmer co-ops, right? And they've been around for over 100 years. I mean, there's, you know, the few that I can think of.
Yeah.
And then when you go to Quebec, I mean, some of the places, you know, they're just really small little operations, usually just family, but they make some amazing cheeses.
Right, and that's the thing, it's often those little gems that are just hiding out there.
Yeah.
And sometimes they surface if they win in a particular cheese award, then all of a sudden, boom, you know, you hear them a little bit more. But I'm sure that you love to seek out the little guys sometimes.
Well, and the care they put into it, you know, I'm not saying that mass-produced cheese is bad. I'm just, you know, I like the fact that the people that make these artisanal cheeses, you know, the care they put into it, the attention to detail, you know, that really comes out in the cheese and the flavor and the quality, right? So.
Well, let's talk about some of the ones we have in front of us. We have a lot of varieties right now, but some of your favorites right now that you love.
Avonlea Clothbound from Prince Edward Island, wonderful cheese, done in the traditional way. This is actually cheesecloth on the outside here, okay? Yeah. And when you taste the cheese, believe it or not, you get a hint of potato in it. It's just this oddity because of the cloth. Yeah. But you know, people always say to me, "Oh my God, it tastes like potatoes." So it's an amazing cheese.
Well, that's the thing, and you can't underestimate the outside of the cheese and the way it's been washed, the way it's been treated, or however it may, really does influence what's going on inside of the cheese.
Definitely, definitely. This way, the cheese, by having the cloth on the outside, you know, everything that happens to the cheese is basically contained. Then we're talking wash rind cheeses. That's basically the idea of a wash rind cheeses, where during the aging process, the cheesemaker goes in every so often and washes the cheese in like a salt brine solution, or sometimes they use alcohol, like, you know, cognac or so on. But then they form a natural rind. Right. Okay. But looking at some of the other cheeses here, Riopelle from Quebec, it's a triple cream brie. Wonderful, one of our favorites here actually. Humboldt Fog.
Yes, I've had this.
This is actually a cheese from the U.S. out of California.
That's good, actually. It's
a really nice cheese. You actually notice here, it has a line of ash in the middle. A lot of people think that it's maybe like a blue cheese, but this is actually an activated charcoal ash. And because this is a ghost cheese, it takes some of the acidity out of the cheese during aging. It's lovely.
That is beautiful.
We have also a 6-year-old Gouda right here from Holland. Okay. Wonderful cheese. Villa Reserva from Spain. It's a sheep's milk cheese, and they put rosemary on the outside. Lovely. We have a 6-year-old Parmigiano right here from Italy. Blue Haze, again a product from Canada. It's from Ontario. It's a smoked blue cheese. Then we have the Scottish cheddar. We have a whole different lines, like apple smoked. This is the poacher's choice with garlic. Old Amsterdam from Holland right here. Wensleydale with blueberries.
That's blueberries. I was wondering what that was.
That's right, yeah. So I think we kind of covered that right there.
Well, no, and the great thing is when you are entertaining, again, it's nice to have a little bit of a variety. So if you were to have, say, just 3 cheeses you were to put out, when you're looking for variety, and I'm talking just in general types of cheeses, what would you recommend to somebody?
Just in general, I would put a hard, a medium, and a soft cheese.
Yes.
So like soft, a brie. Medium could be something like a younger Gouda, for instance. Okay. And a hard cheese, then, you know, like we're talking like an older cheddar, or you know, maybe an older Gouda, so something like that.
That's the thing, right? In general, cheddar's a good pleaser too, right, for people.
Definitely. And I also would always make sure that you maybe have at least one goat's milk or sheep's milk cheese out, because some people they have a better time digesting those type of cheeses.
Oh, okay. That's good to know.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that if you're lactose intolerant, you can eat a ton of goat's or sheep's milk cheese, but it's definitely better for you.
Okay. And that's the thing, right? You are running into more, you know, intolerances with people nowadays with that type of, but that's right. I guess people have to make their choices and how they can digest their food. And
that's right.
So let's talk a little bit about, okay, so you've put out these cheeses and some selection of cheeses. Some recommendations of accompaniments with the cheese.
Well, I mean, crackers. For one thing, we have a line of Evelyn's crackers from Toronto. This is another wonderful small scale operation. It's actually a husband and wife team. They source everything locally, ancient grains and so on. So we're a very big supporter of them. So I would put crackers, some fresh bread, and then of course jams and jellies, like Yummies in a Jar, also from Ontario.
Yeah, again,
Wonderful
local.
product. Okay, wildly delicious. We've got some compotes, tapenades, that type of thing. Confites, great to put on cheeses.
Right.
And also like drizzling balsamic on some cheeses is really, really nice. We have a really great line of artisanal Italian balsamic vinegars here. So those kind of things I would recommend, to put up with the cheese, and then also maybe put out some charcuterie, like some meats, some pâtés, right?
And that's the thing. And how much fun is that? Literally to come into someone's place and just have again the charcuterie and the cheeses, and I mean people just sit around, and that's what it's all about: conversation and entertaining, and just hang out with a glass of wine and enjoy the combination of all of this. Can last for hours.
Exactly, and the most important thing when it comes to cheese is you want to have it sitting out for a bit. You don't want to just take it out of the fridge and serve it, because then you're not getting the full flavor. So you want to basically have it sit out in room temperature for at least an hour before your guests arrive, and that way you're getting, you want it to warm up a bit. You want to get all the flavors of the cheese.
Okay. Yeah. Now something I've noticed over here as well, you have an ice syrup.
Yes.
Which is actually kind of a nice
another great product.
idea.
Again, it's locally.
Yeah.
It's basically made sort of the idea like an ice wine syrup. Again, you can also drizzle that on cheese. Really lovely.
What a great idea. So again, the best thing I think people to come down and chat with you guys and get an idea of what one of these accompaniments would work with certain cheeses, and then can put together, and you can look like a total pro, right?
Exactly. And what we've been doing too is we're really branching out. We're doing catering now, special events here in the store. We're doing a lot of special events, parties, birthday parties, and so on.
Awesome. So people can chat with you and come in and organize something fun.
Yes, exactly. Because we can really help them out with how to organize the event, what to have at the event.
I love that. Well, thank you, Tor. We could talk for hours on this stuff.
Yeah,
and look at that, we killed our time already.
Oh
thank you so much. We'll be back here again. We'll be back with more Terra at Home as well in just a bit.
Told you Mom was coming this weekend, right?
No, you left that part out. Her first visit this weekend? Look around, we're not ready for that.
Where are you going?
To Terra, where do you think?
This is amazing. You're amazing.
Well, we had a little help.
TERRA, where color lives.
You've sat under them and built forts in them. You've swung from them and fell out of them. You've even fallen in love under them. Trees have always held a special place in our hearts and memories. A natural beauty, trees will grow with you and your family and bring color and nature into your world. For your assurance of quality, look for trees and shrubs with the Medallion plant tag. Medallion plants, locally grown, the pride of Niagara.
AM 900 CHML is giving you more news when you want it most. Non-stop news weekday mornings 5 till 9, weekday afternoons 3 to 6, with weather and traffic on the 9s. Hear about it first from AM 900 CHML, Hamilton's news talk leader.
Good morning. Welcome back to Terra at Home. We are here with Chef Evan at Cavallo Nero in Ancaster. And how long have you guys been here now?
We've been here just a little over 3 years now.
Yeah, doing very well. Very popular little joint.
Absolutely. I mean, business is just picking up, and everything's been going great for us.
That's good. That's good. Now that's why we're here too. Let's talk about the concept behind the restaurant and what you guys really believe in and love to give to your clients.
Yeah. Well, what we demonstrate here is a fusion between traditional Italian and modern American influences. So a lot of pasta dishes, pizza dishes, a lot of Italian influence, but then we like to do our own spin off a lot of things and do a lot of signature items.
Good, and real just feel good meals, right? That people can come, and it's a very social place too.
Absolutely.
Great wine list, which we're going to get into a little later. We have some dishes in front of us that we are eventually going to pair up with some wine, and that's always great for people to come and have a choice of a lot of glasses by the wine by the glasses, which it just
we
lets
have
people play
an
around.
extensive wine list here. I mean, our wine bar is perfect for pairing with a lot of our dishes. A lot of the different wines we have here are just fantastic to go with the food that we serve.
And good recommendations again from staff, right? Which so then you can kind of follow along and have fun, and then obviously buying by a bottle or by the glass gives people lots of options. So.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we have some dishes in front of us, and these are some of your your top ones and your faves.
These are my favorites at the moment. We're going to start with we did 3 courses to start off.
Perfect.
we did our sea scallops, which are pan-seared, served with a really light vinaigrette on a chickpea salad with some radicchio. And then we do a house-made bacon marmalade. That goes so well with the scallops. It's just like a match made in heaven. It pairs
That's
perfectly.
the thing with scallops is they don't have a lot of flavor themselves, right? So it's what you give to them, and again, giving other textures with it is just going to really finish off the dish nicely.
Absolutely. The crispness of the bacon just goes perfectly with the texture of the scallops.
I love that. And I love that you put chickpeas with it again as well. And something different, another protein, but something that gives you a nice...
Yeah, it keeps it a little fresh. I mean, some people can almost have this as an entree.
I was thinking that.
But it's a recommended appetizer or for sharing with a couple of people. It's just perfect.
And that's what's great about appetizers is something like this is very shareable and it makes it fun, right? And again, part of the whole social thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So this looks amazing, smells amazing, and I can see how this would be a big fave.
This is one of our favorites right now. One of the top sellers. It's our braised lamb shank, and it's served with a sauté of fingerling potatoes, fennel, bacon, and fresh Parmesan.
Wow.
And then that's just got topped with a little red wine and lamb jus.
Now, how long are you preparing this for when it's something that's just become across so tender like that?
Well, I mean, you can mess a lamb shank up very easily, but we braise it for 3 hours.
Okay.
So by the time it comes out of the oven, it's just melts in your mouth. It just comes right off the bone.
Yeah, this that looks wonderful and a nice hearty meal. But I could see somebody wanting that any time of the year. It doesn't have to be
absolutely.
the cold months.
Well, that's what we like to do. We like to keep it within season.
Right.
We like to stay local. Use as many local farms, local purveyors. To really keep a local influence on what we do here.
And I like that too because it also is exciting for you because then you're able to change up the menu when you need to.
Absolutely.
And you're following along with what's coming up, what's fresh. As we move through spring and into summer, you must be so excited with summer coming and all of what's about to be in front of you, right?
Well, we like to keep it fresh. I mean, keep the menu changing, keep the guests, interested in, menu changes and new items, bringing them on, taking them off. So it's really nice that we have the possibility of doing something like that.
Yeah, no, it is.
The menu.
It is, and it's exciting for the staff, right? And just
Absolutely.
That you're going to be able to mix it up all the time, right? Okay, so let's talk about maybe before we move on to dessert. What would you say of some of your other top items that you serve that people love to come for?
Well, like I said, we do a lot of fresh pasta here, and we have many different pastas ranging from seafood pastas, beef tenderloin pastas. We have a lot of fantastic sellers. Another one of our great mains is kind of a take on an Italian chicken parmesan, but we stuff it with veal and Asiago cheese. Then we top that with a fire-roasted tomato sauce, which is made in-house.
That sounds amazing.
And that has been one of our great sellers lately as well.
Now, have you ever been surprised by a certain dish that you put on the menu that it's goes off way better than you ever expected?
Yeah, actually, that's one that's just taken off lately. That one is, I mean, people just love it. It's nice that you don't have to choose between the veal and the chicken. You can kind of, have a little bit of each in each bite. And it's just, like I said, focusing on our fusion of modern with traditional Italian dishes.
Right. And of course, then you have pizzas as well.
Yeah, we do homemade pizzas. We make the dough in-house. Okay. And all of our pizzas are just phenomenal. Everything, all the toppings are the freshest toppings. Everything comes from local farms.
That's cool. And you know what's great about that too? Again, people love to. You have a lot of an atmosphere here where you can sit, as family and friends in booths, but you can also sit around at it's sort of like a wine bar environment and have a glass of wine and share pizza, and that is fun. People love that.
Absolutely. Here in Ancaster, it's all it's a local knit community, small knit community. Everybody knows everybody here, so it's a good spot for people to come, hang out, see the people that are in the neighborhood, the people that they know, and just kind of hang out and have a glass of wine.
Yeah, it becomes that local kind of hangout place for people, right? But it's perfect. Like upscale and nice. All right, so let's move on to desserts, which is one of my favorite things. And I've actually had the carrot cake here before with my mom. We shared it at lunchtime, and it's way too good.
It's homemade carrot cake. We make it in-house daily. All of our desserts, once again, are all made in-house.
But that's good to know because a lot of people don't do that.
Right, absolutely.
Right?
A lot of people bring in, desserts, but we focus on, everything's done in-house from scratch.
Right.
Everything is, highest quality ingredients, and a carrot cake for us right now is the #1 dessert seller for us. So
there's a lot going on in there, though. You can see it's a hearty piece of carrot cake.
Oh, it is. It really, it's shareable for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. What other desserts would you recommend?
We do a seasonal cheesecake that changes weekly, so we can do a different style of cheesecake. Whether it's right now it's a key lime cheesecake. chocolate cheesecake, a Kahlua cheesecake. We do lots of different kinds.
That's fun. So basically, we're looking at these dishes right now, and of course, talking about the fact that you do have a vast wine selection. What we're going to do is we're going to come back from the break, and we're going to talk about pairing wine. And again, if you just wanted to do it glass by glass, along with each dish, and even going right down to dessert, yes, you can pair wine with that too,
absolutely.
Right?
You must pair wine with dessert.
Lots of options. So that's what we'll do when we come back, and we'll take you through it, and we'll finish off an entire meal for you, and you'll be very full by the time we're done. We would let you try it, but we're not going to let you. We'll be back with more right after this.
Told you Mom was coming this weekend, right?
No, you left that part out. Her first visit this weekend? Look around, we're not ready for that.
Where are you going?
To TERRA, where do you think?
This is amazing. You're amazing.
Well, we had a little help.
TERRA, where color lives.
Welcome back to TERRA at Home. We are back at Cavallo Nero, and we're here now with manager Stephanie.
Hello.
And hi. So we were with the chef Evan earlier, and we were going through some of your top dishes, and now you are back to help us pair up some wines with them. And we'll start off with the appetizer first, the scallops. So what do you recommend?
So when you're starting off a wine pairing, you want to really start with a lighter, sweeter wine, especially with a seafood dish like we have here, the sea scallops. So I paired it with our tossed Riesling. So yeah, it's a great wine to pair with the scallops.
And he was mentioning there's like a bit of a sweetness to the chutney that's on there,
so it'll bring out the flavors.
Okay. Oh yeah, it's definitely a sweetness to that.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that's very, very nice with that. Perfect. Okay. Perfect. So then moving on to the main, and we're getting into an Argentinian wine.
Yeah, exactly. So with a dark meat like the lamb, I went with a heavy, more robust wine because it'll bring out the flavor of the meat as well as the wine. Okay. So it really pairs together quite well.
And that's the thing, because it is a real rich dish, and with the flavors and the rosemary and all that in there, you want something that will kind of hold it. So, here you
it'll compete with it.
I'm going to take a little smell of this one and see. That's nice. That's a Malbec. Okay, I'll give it a try. Nice, and that was the thing. I mean, able to sit here and eat and pair at the same time, it would be so much fun because you can really get a flavor for it, but you can understand by the flavor profiles.
Yeah, and if you even don't know what to pair with something, our servers are really good at letting you know a great wine. So
that's always helpful for people, right? Especially if you're kind of entertaining some friends, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You want to order the wrong bottle of wine.
Yeah, it can change the flavor in a dish.
It absolutely can. It can make things not taste that great, right? Or it'll even turn off the wine a little bit in the flavor.
Exactly.
Okay, so moving on to dessert, you can still have a nice glass of wine with your dessert.
So we have a lot of homemade desserts here. So what I paired with our dessert today, just to kind of complement the sweetness, is a dry white wine. Okay. So I paired the Pinot Grigio today.
Oh, very nice. Okay. That smells very nice. So we do have to sign off, but we do want to remind everybody, of course, you're located in Ancaster, and again, a great meal, great place for entertaining, pizzas, pastas, lovely dishes, and yes, good wine selection. So thank you, Stephanie.
Thank you.
Thanks to everybody here at Cavallo Nero, and I'm going to give this a try, and again, I could just mix all this and go right to that, but lovely. Perfect. Well, cheers to you. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Well, that's it for TERRA at Home. Have yourself a great weekend.